Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas, and today I have with me Jamie Pierce, who sounds very British, but is down in South Africa. He is the VP of Business Development and Partnerships for Synatic. I don't know if I pronounced that halfway correct. So Jamie,
Synatic.
How's it going?
Hey, good and you, Tony. Thanks for having me on the show.
Fantastic. So South Africa, I've actually visited. I've been to Johannesburg and I've done the safari at the biggest park. I can't remember the name right this second.
Kruger National Park.
Kruger, yes, and also Shushui Park and Rhino River. So we did quite the tour. Anyway, beautiful country. So since we're recording on May 3rd, is winter starting for you? Is that, since you guys are on the opposite side?
Yeah, I have got a full fire going in my fireplace and I'm toasting up the house. So very much heading into winter outside.
Okay. So we always give the guest the chance of giving the elevator pitch. What is Synatic?
So Synatic is a data automation and integration platform that makes data and integration easy. So what we do is we play in several markets. One of our key market focuses is in the insurance market. And really what we're looking at doing there is aggregating data. So building out data warehouses and ability to report on that data, and then integrating that data. So making that data flow between different solutions. So right from AMSs into CRMs, into insurtechs, carrier solutions. So we've done projects on the carrier side, including things like your policy management solutions, claims management solution, and really creating that golden thread of a customer through your platforms and being able to make that golden thread of that customer enable customer centricity in your business and integrate into your various solutions.
Okay. So this one's a particularly tricky one for me because I have never worked on the IT side. So as a long time now, carrier employee, what I have seen is how our systems, these carriers in the US, are painfully old and painfully difficult to integrate. Okay, so I don't know how much of that is because the data being disparate in a bunch of different places instead of in one accessible place. So I am really curious when you're working with insurance carriers, especially, what does it look like before they bring Synatic on?
Well, it looks exactly that. It looks like a data mess, really. So you sit with solutions that have the record sets around a customer, but they are disparate in nature. And to augment on that answer and bring in one of your questions there, you sat on the customer side, not on the user side, and not in the IT side. That's actually where we like to focus. So we like to solve business problems. We don't like to focus on bringing a technology solution. We bring a business answer to a real world problem that people experience as frustrations in their day-to-day lives. So really what that system stack looks like is it's a bunch of different systems that aren't talking to each other in the most simple way. And where the answer lies there is to bring a cohesive view of those systems together.
Okay, a cohesive view of those systems. Okay, so when I was at Nationwide, I did hear a lot about the company's efforts to get to one version of the truth.
Yes,
which is a very interesting concept from my perspective, because how can we have more than one version of the truth, right? Like, you would think that by default, any business would have one version of the truth, but carriers, because of their myriad of systems intermeshed together, and they've acquired each smaller companies, and not fully replaced that company's systems, right? And systems were custom built, and not and we're talking sometimes 30 or 40 or 50 years ago, and very much not
100%.
meant to really integrate with each other, right? Just meant to do whatever it is that they were supposed to do. So basically that's kind of what you're in the simplest terms, that's kind of what you're helping a carrier to do, right? Is get to one version of the truth where all the data is together.
Yeah, and then to do something with that data. So there's two distinct things there. It's one thing to get a consolidated view of the data, and it's another thing to make that data do something. So we always talk about reporting being part of the story. It's an important part. So don't get me wrong, we don't undermine the value that reporting gives you, but also we use the word operationalize. So it's to take that data that we've aggregated out into a single view of the customer, and to go and say, well, how do we push this into Salesforce for our CRM, or how do we push it into an InsurTech so that it's automated on the InsurTech side? And that single view of the customer, your point there surrounding the acquisition strategy, like very often businesses acquire different businesses, and then they can't build out that single view of customer. Now, if we've got Tony sitting in one solution and he's using whatever it may be, PNC there, and this isn't a great example, but we don't have him in our auto and home side of the business, and we don't have a single view of Tony, how can we cross-sell him? How can we upsell him? How do we engage with Tony to understand what his needs are, to understand what his customer buying cycle is? And we can't, because fundamentally we've acquired these two different, or we've acquired a secondary business into that same business. And how do I get that single view to treat Tony as a single entity?
Okay. Once we decide to engage Synatic, how long does it take to implement?
So, tricky question. So it really depends what you want to do. So what we aim to do is to have something delivered within the first month, so you've got something tangible. So the trick with integration is that it happens behind the scenes. So we don't have any visible delivery until we see data popping up in a different system that was originated in the first system. So what we like to do is to try and get something over the line within the first 4 to 8 weeks maximum.
Quick win.
Sometimes we're dealing with simpler integration. Sometimes we're literally delivering stuff within 2 weeks. And the other day, we had a customer who we pitched on AMS 360. So this is more on the
broker side,
on the agent side, broker side, and we didn't have HubSpot integrated to AMS 360. And I spent an hour bringing up HubSpot and pushing customer records from AMS 360 into HubSpot, and then recorded a 5-minute video and sent it back. So simpler integrations, real quick ROI. More complex integrations where we're aggregating out different data sets, slightly longer time to delivery, but nonetheless, it's still just as powerful.
Okay. And is it like guide wire conversions where I need to bring in or where most companies bring in a third-party consulting firm to actually execute on the transition, or basically you guys handled the getting us on board?
So no, we're not focused specifically on any one of the carrier solutions. So we don't do Guidewire onboarding or Duck Creek onboarding.
No. So sorry. Let me rephrase the question.
Sure.
So generally, in order to bring in the Synatic solution, do I need to get third-party help to get it installed?
Sorry, understood.
We talk about the case with Guidewire.
So we talk about our business as SWAS, so not just SaaS. So SWAS being software with a service. So okay. We bring the service with the software. We play more in that into the businesses that need to have some hand-holding through the process. And we find very irregularly can we just say, here's the solution, set the customer free and go. Can they do that? Yes, absolutely. So, but we find more regularly that customers want a bit of hand-holding and guidance through that first project. So we have an implementation team, and it's a burgeoning part of our business because we do offer this implementation alongside the licenses of Synatic.
Okay, and since you're talking to me, I'm assuming that the implementation team is able to do US implementations.
We 80% of our business is US.
Okay,
so we're actually so I call it COVID locked. I'm locked in South Africa because of COVID. Haven't been able to get visas, man. So we the bulk of our sales team is in the US. We've got marketing out of the US. We've got some delivery team members in the US. So we're a US focused business.
Actually. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Any client success stories? Whether you from my perspective, you're free to mention the client name, but if you can't mention the client name, that's fine.
Oh no, we can. It's on our website. It's on our case studies. So I'll talk to two there. So one on the carrier side, one on the broker side. So on the carrier side, we've had some real good success with HTC Tokyo Marine. So what they and I'll tell a cool story of one of the aspects of what we delivered there. There's a long bunch of stuff we delivered there, but what they did was they utilized Synatic to automate the process of getting policy, claim, and email communications around a legal claim, an inward bound legal claim, so a claim against HCC, and reduce the time taken to piece that data together from literally like 2 weeks to, and this is the one time where it really was as easy as the click of a button. So they were enabled to, as a user, punch in the claim number. Synatic then went through their legacy solutions and their custom built solutions, fetch the policy data, fetch the claim data, fetch the policy renewals, fetched email communication out of Salesforce, and pieced it all together in a zip file and dropped it into the account handler's inbox. And that meant that the account handler could then go and take that data and send it over to the legal team that had legal proceedings without having to go and sift through and find the policy renewals, find the claim. So it literally reduced the ROI was fantastic on that because it reduced their lead time from 2 weeks to a matter of minutes. On the broker side, we've done some really good work with PSA. So PSA just got acquired by Hild Group. So what they had is they have present tense, they have Benefit Point, AMS 360, Salesforce. So we use Synatic to build out a single view of customer between Benefit Point and AMS 360, get that single view of customer, because obviously benefits and P&C insurance are two very distinct things which you can have common clients. So they then utilize that for cross-selling and upselling in their BI warehouse. And then we integrated that data through to Salesforce. And then Salesforce was enabled to create the policy shell back in AMS 360 and the normal download process. So it's like some really good, cool stuff we've done there that unfortunately, because of the nature of the disparate solutions that sit in our industry, like people think it's just not possible. Like we were at Accelerate the other day with NetView, with Vertifall, and like people were literally coming to our stall and saying like, you can't integrate Salesforce and AMS 360. And we were like, no, you can. We've done it. Like I can show you it happening. And it's almost like this perception of it's so friggin' difficult and so expensive that just don't want to go down that road. And that's really what we want to open the industry up to, is there's this burgeoning insurtech happening in and around your core systems. There's a ton of stuff that you need to get into your CRM so that your folk that are in their CRM can activate that data. And that's what we're here to do.
Okay, so it sounds like, especially when you're looking for one version of the truth, and when you're looking for one view of the customer that is currently in multiple systems.
Yeah, that's where we play. And to be able to move that data between solutions, because that it kills businesses, because what it does is it just creates this onerous like re-entry of data, and then people make mistakes when they're re-entering the data. These 10 little guys, man, they make mistakes all the time. And then we're dumping out CSV files and Excel files and doing calculations and macros, and it's a mess. And like, just, it's gotta get better. Like, and everyone talks about APIs and goes like, yeah, but we got an API. It's like, well, API isn't a magic source that just means two APIs can talk to each other. You need something that's going to actually be the Google Translate of those two APIs and make them talk to each other.
Okay. Who is usually within a carrier or within a broker, who is calling you in? Is it the CIO? Yeah. Or is it like the head of customer service, a COO, or like who's the one generally calling for something like this?
So it varies dramatically. So it depends who's feeling the pinch of the pain, and ultimately what it comes down to is who's got that business issue pain at the moment. So sometimes the CIO is involved in that and fully aware, and not dissing CIOs at all. Sometimes they aren't aware of that. Sometimes it's too many levels removed from them. Sometimes we actually start off with like an account handler and an account manager and work our way up. So who we really want to get to is typically your CIO type person or your COO type person. That said, it's easier said than done, because sometimes, especially on the broker side, so naturally carriers are bigger businesses, but on the broker side, typically slightly smaller businesses. And there you're really focusing on the people who are really feeling the pinch of that business pain point.
Okay. How did the idea for this? Well, you guys this is do more than just insurance. So basically you saw a common pain point in business in general, and just over time found your way to insurance also.
Yeah. So like most good business stories, we had an idea and then stuff fell into place, and here we are. So that's how most people are. So we essentially started off as a data integration platform with the idea to be a relatively small solution and pushing files into legacy solutions. And it was kind of, the idea was to be originally the CEO and founder of Synatic. The idea was to be a one-man band and, have 100 customers paying $100 a month or $200 a month and go and live out life and be peaceful. And then he basically completely stuffed that vision up and grew it into a proper business. And really, we found our way into insurance through a very valuable partner of ours in the Salesforce space, a gentleman by the name of Andrew Bartels. And he took us into a couple of key customers, and our eyes were open to how much pain data causes in insurance. It's frightening how bad, not bad is a bit of a heady word, but like how many challenges exist around data in the industry. And this is carrier side and broker side. Like, brokers are very much waking up to, I've got a bunch of powerful stuff in my data here and I need to do cooler things with it. How do I do cooler things with it? Like, I can't just sit there and assume that customers are going to Google me anymore. How do I automate my lead gen? How do I optimize my onboarding of customers? And then obviously the ramification is onto carriers as well. Carriers have always sat in data, and I think they realize that. Obviously, they realize that. And really, we just found our way into insurance through key customers like Louisiana Workers' Compensation Commission, HCC, PSA. Like a lot of those were our formative customers, and we've grown into 4 different departments within HCC. So that's been a real good success story for us. So it's been a natural growth. Do we focus on other industries? Absolutely. You'll be frightened to hear that the property segment is actually arguably worse than the insurance segment in terms of disparate data sectors. So real estate, there's a lot of legacy stuff in real estate. But yeah, it's an exciting time to be in the insurance sector, just because there's a very, very strong awakening to this. I've got data and I need to do cool stuff with it.
Well, in insurance businesses, we are data. Like all we do is move data around, right? We're not building widgets. This 100% what we're doing is moving data around, and historically, with very inefficient and ineffective systems.
100%, man.
So it is really cool to see that the revolution that InsurTech has brought our way.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Excellent. Interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for reaching out to come on the podcast. When it goes live, I will tag you on LinkedIn, and I will tag Synatic, include Synatic's website. And what's the easiest way for a listener who wants to see what you guys do? What's the easiest way to get a demo?
Just hit me up, Jamie@synatic.com. So JAMIE@synatic.com.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for your time.